So, you did it again. You got another one of those items that you're told to get by every YouTuber, player, and even your dad's, uncles, stepbrothers, nieces, cats, best friends, teacher told you to get. That item, of course, is the Terminator. Like last video, we won't bother to go over how you get it, as you definitely know if you know what the item is. The Terminator goes for over 500 million coins, which when compared to the Hyperion is nothing, but still a lot of money for people who are starting out. But now what? That's where we come in. We've made a list of uses and things to do with your new bow. This list, of course, is impossible to fill, so we gathered as many uses as we could think of that are commonly used by a majority of the player base, and even some that aren't.
The best armor to use with the Terminator is dependent on the activity. Inside dungeons, the best is going to be either Maxor or Necron. Maxor armor is designed for archers, however Necron provides higher damage stats and is usually the meta inside dungeons, with Maxor boots being used to provide speed. There is one more armor piece that is utilized inside dungeons, and that piece is the Skeleton Master Chestplate. A 50 out of 50 M7 chestplate provides very comparable stats to Necron, with its ability being to never consume arrows, allowing for infinite arrows. This removes the one annoying part of running a lot of dungeons, as you will often run out of arrows, so never being able to run out is a very nice QOL change. Outside dungeons, these armor sets can be used, however Terra armor is the best. Terra has an ability to shoot extra arrows, and the armor set at higher tiers outclasses both Necron and Maxor in terms of stats.
There are many good pets to use with the Terminator. The main three ones used are the Skeleton Pet, Ender Dragon, and Golden Dragon. The Skeleton Pet is the cheapest by a lot, and provides high damage buffs for the Terminator, such as increasing bow damage by 75%, and that doubles inside dungeons. However, both Dragon Pets outclass it, with their high stats and abilities, such as the Golden Dragon buffing damage by 250% at max, wins a billion coins in the bank. Now that is a lot of damage.
In terms of power and tunings, the Terminator will divide your critical chance by 4, so you want to make sure that it reaches 100% again. That's why the Fortuitous power is so good, as it provides a lot of crit chance. Tunings should be on critical chance, and if 100% is reached whilst holding the Terminator, then they can be whatever you want. Lastly, the Reforge. There are 3 main contenders in this space, which are Hasty, Spiritual, and Precise. Hasty is the recommended Reforge if you want to try and hit 100% crit chance, as it provides the most critical chance in the game. Perfect for people with low magical power. Spiritual and Precise are very similar. They are both for high level damage dealers. They provide less crit chance than Hasty, but more damage. The damage comparison is negligible between them. Spiritual does do more damage, however Precise is still an option due to one thing. The issue is that the Spiritual ability spawns decoys. Usually this is nice, however in Master Mode Floor 4 this is a big issue. After a certain amount of decoys have been spawned, it will prevent any more from spawning, and since the decoy is required in the boss fight, it makes the fight a whole lot harder, forcing players to have to switch to Precise. I find it quite ironic that the Power Stone unlocked on this floor has been banned from that floor.
Now, let's talk about Ultimate Enchants, the part a few of you have been waiting for. There are 4 competitors each with their own pros and cons. First up is Soul Eater, the best all-rounder enchant, and this is shown in its efficient dungeon clears, high one-shot damage, and more. There's a reason it's the ultimate enchant that most people put on their first Terminators. Next is Duplex. Duplex provides a lot more DPS when compared to Soul Eater, as an extra arrow is sent every single time you shoot. This makes it perfect for shredding mini-bosses and regular bosses, since you can get so much extra DPS. This includes places like tier 5 Cuda and dragons in M7, where you really just want to maximize the damage to speed up the run as fast as possible. Then, we have the other 2 funny enchants, which are Rend and Fatal Tempo. Both of them have their own highly specific use cases, but we're too stupid to understand how they work, and just recommend watching a proper video explaining them in detail from experts who discover these things and know how to use them correctly.
Before we get into this further, we would like to ask you to like and sub. The more traction we get on YouTube, the better. As we said in a previous video, when we hit 100 subs, the top comment on that video will choose a future video topic.
The Terminator does an insane amount of damage in dungeons, and so it's the main weapon used inside of dungeons. The others being the Hyperion, of course. But the high damage of the Terminator makes it overkill in regular floors, except for the boss fights that, some of the extra damage can be helpful to kill it quickly. This is usually why the Hyperion is used here instead, as it clears fast and does the damage needed. However, in Master Mode, this is not the case. Mobs have insanely high health and deal a lot of damage. The high DPS potential of the Terminator shines here, and since it is a bow, it provides some distance from the mobs, allowing players to avoid the high damage the mobs can deal. The Terminator also pairs very well with the Ice Ray and the Gyrokinetic Wand. Both of these wands provide useful abilities which assist in killing specific mobs. The Ice Ray provides a damage boost and freezes the mob, so when dealing with mini-bosses it makes it a lot easier to kill. The Gyrokinetic Wand on the other hand pulls all enemies into a vortex for 3 seconds. Whilst this does not sound useful on paper, the Terminator does high knockback to mini-bosses and regular bosses. Pulling all enemies into a specific spot removes the annoying knockback, allowing players to quickly kill mini-bosses.
The Crimson Isle is filled with high health mobs which most weapons cannot kill in a single hit. However, the Terminator can. This makes it useful for killing regular mobs for quests or collecting certain mob drops. However, the Terminator is extremely useful for mini-bosses in the Crimson Isle. The Magma boss was designed to be killed by a bow, and the Terminator is extremely effective in killing it. The high DPS allows it to shred the different phases of the boss, and also the cubes it spawns between the phases. Terror Armor is especially effective as the extra arrows add even more DPS. Mage Outlaw is also very simple with the term, especially when paired with the Skeleton Master chestplate. When you aim at the Mage Outlaw when he isn't floating, you can spam click to completely nuke him, and when he floats, every shot will miss, meaning you can't die. All arrows hit at a medium range, meaning you only have to move for the red shield unless you want to die.
The Terminator is used in Cuda for 2 very special reasons. The first being stun DPS and infernal DPS. In Cuda tier 3 or higher, after building the ballista, the players can go inside of Cuda to stun him. After he has been stunned, Cuda will take damage from players, however the damage is hit based. This is similar to Bow. When mixed with Toxic Arrow Poison's ability, this phase of Cuda can be done extremely fast, skipping the rest of the ballista section completely and killing him and finishing the run. However, in Infernal tier, there is one more phase left of Cuda, and this is where the Terminator is used again. Cuda will take players into his lair, where players can kill him for real. The Terminator is used as Cuda has magic resistance and is too far away to be meleeed or hit with a Hyperion's ability. Another interesting strategy developed for this part is usage of the Lava Shell Necklace and the Lifeline attribute. In the lair, you do not take any damage. Well, you do, but very rarely. So the Lifeline attribute can be used, which buffs players' damage by a lot, and when using the Lava Shell Necklace, it disables health regeneration, and if you drain enough health, you can just activate the Lifeline ability. This allows players to do insane amount of damage to kill Cuda quickly, because we always need to be fast.
The end is filled with many different combat opportunities. The easiest example of what to do with the Terminator is dragons. It's easy to hit dragons with bows, and since the Terminator is a short bow, this makes it even easier. The Dragon Tracer enchant also helps in hitting the dragon. The other boss on this island is the Endstone Protector, and a meta has arisen to kill them fast with the Terminator and explosive arrows. This is similar to the tech used for E-Man's hits phase, which I'll explain soon. This system works well to kill the Endstone Protector quickly. Enderman Slayer is done in the end, and the boss has a few different phases. The phase that we care about is the hits phase, as a tier 4 Enderman has this phase 3 times. When it spawns, when it hits 140 million HP, and when it hits 70 million HP. The intended strategy is to use the Atom Split Katana's ability to spam ferocity hits on it. However, using explosive arrows and the Atom Split's ability when shooting the floor near the boss, you can shred the hits phase in seconds, saving a lot of time on this boss. It's a known fact that bows cannot hit Enderman, however since the Terminator is an Enderman Slayer weapon, it can hit them. The Terminator is especially useful in grinding Summoning Eyes from Zealots. The Salvation ability is also good for reaching faraway Zealots before another player kills it. Terminator is a highly effective weapon for grinding Bestiary. There are mobs that are easiest to grind with the Terminator, but any mobs that have some distance between them, it is best to use the Term, but if they are packed close together, the AoE of a Hyperion can be better. A good example of a mob that can be killed effectively is Bal. Bal, like stunned Cuda, takes hit damage and not regular damage and is magic immune. The multiple arrows the Term shoots allows for more hits to be done faster. Other examples of good mobs to kill include rain slimes, gravel skeletons, glaciite walkers, slimes in the emerald mines, and crypticals. The Term can be used for pretty much any mob in the Bestiary, but that case also exists for Hyperion, so the grinding of Bestiary is dependent on the gear you have available.
Now, it's time for the most important use a Terminator can provide. That, of course, is spamming explosive arrows into the ground so you can kill yourself. Each arrow you do does 10% of your max health. Since the Terminator shoots 3 arrows, it just takes 4 clicks to nuke yourself. And why would you want to do this? I don't know, but it's a use case, so we had to include it.
Thank you all for watching. Please like, sub, and comment what item we should do next for this series. We both hope you have a great rest of your day, night, morning, or whatever time it is for you.